I died choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the boot crushed my windpipe against the cold concrete of that godforsaken black site cell in Nevada. Betrayed by the man I loved, framed for treason by the brass who couldn't stomach a woman rising through the ranks, my last thought was a scream of rage that echoed into nothingness, until it didn't. When my eyes snapped open, it wasn't to the fluorescent hell of interrogation lights, but to the sterile glow of a four-star general's master bathroom in Arlington, Virginia, staring back at me from a mirror framed in polished mahogany, a face that wasn't mine. Weathered lines, salt and pepper buzz cut, piercing blue eyes under heavy brows. General Jonathan Hale, the iron fist of the Joint Chiefs. The walking embodiment of every toxic bro code nightmare in the Pentagon. What the actual fuck? The words tumbled out in Hale's gravelly baritone, but they were mine, Lila Vasquez's fire, trapped in this patriarchal prison of a body. My hands, his hands, gripped the marble sink, knuckles whitening as flashes hit me like shrapnel. My real death, the setup, the lover's whispers turning to lies. I'd been a rising star, a JAG officer turned intel analyst, the Latina kid from East LA who clawed her way to colonel by 32, exposing corruption that threatened the old boys club. And they'd crush me for it. Now, here I was, soul slammed into Hale 2 weeks before his mandatory retirement bash, his mind a foggy remnant I shoved aside like yesterday's trash. This wasn't reincarnation. This was a cosmic middle finger, a second shot loaded with enough firepower to burn it all down. I straightened up, Hale's 6'3" frame feeling like a goddamn tank, broad shoulders straining the silk robe, the weight of stars on my epaulets even in memory. The date on his wristwatch read October 15th, 2025. 2 weeks until the gala where Hale was set to endorse Senator Harlan Graves, the silver-tongued viper who'd greenlit my frame job. Graves, with his Bible-thumping facade and whispers of diversity hires behind closed doors, was the architect of my downfall, but it was Captain Derek Lang, my fiancé of 3 years, who'd pulled the trigger, literally, signing off on the enhanced interrogation that ended me. For the good of the service, he'd murmured in that deposition I never lived to see. Bastard. I'd loved him, built a life around late-night strategy sessions and dreams of a quiet farm in Montana. He'd sold me out for a promotion, Graves' promise of admiral stars dangling like fool's gold. Stumbling into the bedroom, I flicked on the lamp, the room a shrine to machismo. Golf trophies from Pebble Beach, framed photos of Hale shaking hands with presidents, a wall safe humming with biometric locks. My heart, Hale's heart, pounded as I crossed to the full-length mirror, stripping off the robe to assess the damage. 62 years of steak and bourbon living had left the body solid but creaky, abs like weathered leather, scars from Fallujah snaking across the ribs. But power? This shell reeked of it. Access to classified networks, Oval Office speed dials, a Rolodex that could topple administrations. I flexed, watching the biceps bulge, a grim smile cracking Hale's stern lips. Lila's back, motherfuckers, I growled, the voice booming off the walls. And this time, I'm playing God. Dawn broke over the Potomac as I dressed in Hale's uniform, crisp olive drab, ribbons gleaming like accusations. The commute to the Pentagon was a blur of black SUVs and salutes, my mind racing through the timeline. In my old life, Hale had been the final nail. His testimony sealed my fate, calling me unstable and compromised based on fabricated psych evals Derek had planted. But Hale had his skeletons too, a trail of sidelined female officers, whispers of harassment swept under DoD rugs, and a dirty little secret I'd uncovered pre-death. Hale's involvement in a black-budget op called Project Aegis, siphoning funds from women's health initiatives to pad drone programs. Graves and Derek were in it up to their necks, a triad of greed masquerading as patriotism. By 0800, I was in the earring, Hale's corner office overlooking the river of blood. That's what we called the mall of marble corridors where careers bled out. Staffers buzzed like drones. Major Ellis, Hale's aide, a wiry kid with Ivy League polish, handed me the briefing packet. Sir, the Graves endorsement draft is ready. And Colonel Vasquez's file, the old one, cross-reference for the archives. My blood iced. Vasquez.
Me.
The ghost in the machine. Burn it. I snapped, Hale's timbre making Ellis flinch. All of it. And cancel my lunch with Lang. Ellis blinked, but nodded. Hale's word was law. The morning blurred into meetings, budget huddles where I stonewalled Graves' pet projects, subtly shifting funds back to veteran support for assaulted servicewomen. Every nod, every clipped order, was a thread pulled in the tapestry of revenge. But doubt gnawed. Hale's memories flickered like bad reception, his divorce, acrimonious and sexist, blaming feminazi lawyers, his rants at the O Club about woke dilution of the ranks. This body carried the sins I'd come to avenge, amplified. Could I wield it without becoming it? Fuck that noise. I died innocent. They'd pay in full. Lunch was solitary, a steak at the officer's mess, where I overheard the gossip. Hale's off his game, snapped at the SECDEF's scheduler. Good. Let them whisper. I needed chaos to mask the storm. Back in the office, I cracked the wall safe, retina scan be damned. My will overrode it, and pulled the Aegis dossier. Pages thick with red stamps, it detailed the siphon. $200 million rerouted, laundered through Graves' campaign packs, Derek as the on-site fixer. My old intel work had flagged it. That's why they'd silence me. A photo clipped inside. Graves, Hale, Derek at a DC steakhouse, cigars lit, toasting the real America. My fist crumpled the edge. Traitors, all. As the sun dipped, I placed the first call, not to allies, but to a wild card, Sergeant Maria Torres, a demolitions expert I'd mentored pre-death, now buried in desk duty after Hale's merit review, tanked her. General Hale here, I said when she picked up, her voice cracking with shock. We need to talk. Off books. About Vasquez. Silence, then a whisper. Sir? I leaned in, Hale's growl softening to my old cadence. It's me, Maria. Believe it or not. Laughter. Disbelieving. Then tears. Hook set. By nightfall, I'd rallied a shadow network. Women Hale had crushed, ghosts I'd lifted in my first life. The plan coalesced. Expose Aegis at the gala. Frame the framers. Watch the empire crumble. But as I drove back to Arlington, thunder rumbling like artillery, a Hale memory surfaced unbidden, his daughter, estranged, calling him a dinosaur before cutting ties. Misogyny incarnate, backfiring even on his own blood. I gripped the will tighter. This body was my weapon, but the war was personal. Derek thought me dust, Graves a footnote. They'd learn. Lila Vasquez didn't stay buried. The next week was a masterclass in puppetry, Hale's strings mine to yank, every move a calculated incision into the rot. Morning started with PT, Hale's ritual 5-mile run along the Memorial Bridge, dawn mist cloaking the Lincoln Memorial like a guilty secret. I pushed harder than he ever had, lungs burning, mind sharpening on the blade of hatred. Runners saluted. I nodded curtly, but inside, Lila's street smarts scanned for tails. Paranoia was my old friend. After all, I'd been hunted once before. Back at the hacienda, Hale's McMansion, all glass and granite, I brewed black coffee, poring over encrypted drives. Aegis wasn't just embezzlement, it was a hydra. Funds from women's PTSD programs funneled to experimental psyops, testing hallucinogens on recruits without consent. My death. Collateral in covering a test gone wrong. Derek's signature on the waiver that fried a squad of female Marines, then pinned it on my fabricated report. The betrayal cut deeper than the boot. He'd proposed on bended knee in Yellowstone, ring glinting like a lie, promising forever. You're my warrior queen, he'd said. Turns out, queens got guillotined when they threatened the throne. By 0900, the office was a war room. I summoned Ellis. Pull files on Project Aegis. Every signee. His Adam's apple bobbed. Sir, that's eyes only, now Major. He scurried off, returning with a thumb drive that felt like Pandora's box. I plugged it in, screens blooming with ledgers, Grave shell companies, Derek's offshore accounts, Hale's own falsified approvals. The old man's guilt lingered, a psychic aftertaste, boozy nights justifying it as necessary cuts. I'd make him atone, even in death. First strike, anonymous leaks. Using a burner TUR node, I drip-fed docs to investigative journos, ProPublica, The Post, redacted just enough to hook without alerting the hounds. By noon, my secure line buzzed, a callback from Maria Torres. We met in a dive bar off I-395, her in civvies, me in a ball cap shadowing Hale's features. Holy shit, General Lila? Her hug was fierce, calloused hands from bomb defusal gripping my lapels. Over greasy burgers, she spilled, sidelined after Hale accused her of emotional instability post-deployment. You were the only one who saw me, she said, eyes fierce. I clasped her forearm. Now I see everything. Help me bury them. Our network grew in whispers. Lieutenant Aisha Khan, court-martialed on Hale's say-so for insubordination after reporting assault. Captain Riley O'Brien, demoted for maternity leave abandonment. We met in basements and backrooms, a sisterhood forged in shared scars. Plans hatched. At the gala, I'd hijack the podium, upload the full Aegis dump to a live feed. But controversy loomed. Exposing it meant torching innocents, contractors with families, the kind of greater good bullshit that got me killed. It's war, I told them, Hale's voice steel. Collateral's the cost. Derek's shadow fell first. He called that Tuesday, voice oily as ever. John, old man lunch? Graves is pushing the endorsement hard. I agreed, meeting at Ruth's Chris in Crystal City, the scent of seared filet masking my nausea. He slid in opposite, still boyishly handsome, cropped blonde, easy grin, the face I'd kissed goodbye in a dream life. Heard you're dragging your feet on the speech, he said, forking steak. Everything copacetic? I studied him, Hale's poker face masking Lila's blaze. Copacetic as a fox in the henhouse, Captain. His laugh was forced. Vasquez still eating at you? Water under the bridge, sir.
She was.
Compromise. Rage boiled, but I sipped bourbon, letting it simmer. Tell me about Aegis, I said casually. His fork paused midair. Classified, sir. Probe deeper. I dropped a name from the files, a dead-end shell corp color drained from his face. Where'd you hear that? Ghosts whisper, Derek. Loud ones. He bolted excuses, meeting urgent, but I saw the crack. Fear. That night, alone in Hale's study, I cracked a bottle of Macallan, toasting my reflection. To second chances, you patriarchal prick. Hale's memories assaulted me then, vivid as flashbacks, a young ensign, tear-streaked, begging him to stop the advances. He'd laughed it off, career intact. Revulsion twisted my gut. This body was poison. I had to purge it fast. But power tempted. Hale's clout opened doors my colonel's bars never could. A call to the SECDEF's office, feigning concern over budget anomalies, planted seeds of doubt. By week's end, IRS audits whispered in Graves' ear, courtesy of a Torres contact in Treasury. Tension coiled like a spring. Protests erupted outside the White House, Me Too military trending, sparked by my leaks. Fox called it woke witch hunts, CNN, long overdue reckoning. I watched from Hale's Fox News green room, pre-tape segment where Hale, deflected. The military's a meritocracy, folks. Distractions like this undermine readiness. Off camera, I smirked. Let them bicker. The real fight brewed in the shadows. Graves cornered me Friday, storming into the office unannounced, his senatorial suit rumpled, face thunderous. John, what the hell? Leaks? Audits. He paced cologne cloying. The man who'd preached family values while bankrolling my execution. Harlan. I rumbled, rising to tower over him. Accountability's a bitch, ain't it? His eyes narrowed, politician's mask slipping. You threatening me? I leaned in, breath hot. Just reminding you, empires fall on lies. He stormed out, but not before hissing. Watch your back, General. Some debts get collected. The door slammed. I exhaled, adrenaline surging.
Check.
As the gala loomed, Doubts nod. Maria warned. This could end you, us, all. Hale's heart stuttered, a phantom pain from my old death.
But retreat?
Not in my blood. Saturday, I donned the mess dress, stars ablaze, saber at hip, and stepped into the Arlington ballroom, chandeliers glittering like fool's gold. Faces blurred. Brass, politicos, Derek at the bar, nursing scotch, eyes darting. Graves on stage, mic in hand, praising American resolve. My cue approached. The network hummed in my earpiece. Torres in the AV booth, con on cybersecurity, Overwatch. One speech, one upload, and the house of cards topples. But as I mounted the steps, a hand clamped my arm. Derek, breath whiskey sour. John, a word. His grip tightened, eyes wild. Vasquez, she's haunting you, isn't she? I see it. Chills raced. He couldn't know. Let go, I growled.
He didn't.
She was nothing. A mistake. The words ignited me. In a blur, Hale's fist connected, crack, sending him sprawling into the velvet ropes. Gasps rippled. Security surged. Chaos. Perfect cover. As they hauled him up, I seized the mic. Ladies and gentlemen. I boomed, Hale's voice cracking with Lila's fury. Tonight, we reckon with monsters. The ballroom froze, crystal glasses hovering mid-sip, as my Hale's words detonated like a flashbang. Graves' face twisted from podium perch, a hawk scenting blood. Derek, hauled upright by MPs, spat crimson onto the Persian rug, his easy charm shattered like cheap china. Assault? In uniform, he slurred, but I ignored him, thumbing the hidden fob in my cufflink. Torres' signal beeped faint. Upload primed. 200 eyes bored into me. Admirals in whites, senators in tuxes, the elite who'd feasted on the scraps of my old life. This was it, the precipice where controversy birthed legend or locked me in Leavenworth forever. Monsters, I repeated, voice steady as a carrier deck in gale, wear stars and suits. They preach patriotism while pocketing pennies from the widows. Murmurs swelled. A general near the bar, Eagleton, old school hawk, bellowed. Stand down, Hale. You're drunk. But I wasn't, sober as Judgment Day. The screen behind Graves flickered, my network hijacking the feed, ledgers scrolling, Aegis exposed in stark black and white. Gasps turned to shouts. Phones whipped out, live streaming the apocalypse. Graves lunged for the mic, but I shouldered him aside, Hale's bulk a battering ram. Seizing control. Project Aegis. $200 million stolen from servicewomen's care. Signatories. A photo montage bloomed, Graves grinning, Derek nodding, Hale, me, signing off. The room erupted. Security swarmed, but my stars bought seconds. Harlan Graves, for treasonous graft. Captain Derek Lang, for falsified deaths, including Colonel Lila Vasquez, murdered to silence her. Derek's head snapped up, horror dawning. Lila? She's dead by your hand. I roared, the words cathartic venom. You proposed on lies, strangled truth with your ambition. The accusation hung, toxic, whispers of Vasquez rippled. My ghost made flesh. Graves snarled, lies. Hale's lost its senility. But the damage bloomed, reporters in the crowd, badges flashing, cameras rolling. CNN cut live. Pentagon scandal erupts at gala. Fists flew then, Eagleton charging the stage, spittle flying. Traitor. I sidestepped, Hale's training kicking in, tripping him into the podium with a crash. MPs hesitated, Hale's rank a shield crumbling. Derek broke free, tackling me. We grappled, his boyish frame no match for the general's mass. You knew, he hissed, knee in my gut. About us, about her. Pain flared, ribs protesting, but I headbutt him. Crunch, blood spraying. I know everything, lover boy. Your Swiss accounts, the psyop fries. Vasquez wasn't compromised, you were. He reeled back, eyes bulging like a cornered rat. Torres' voice crackled. Upload complete, servers lighting up. The screens looped now, victim testimonies, blurred faces of the women Hale. I had broken. Maria's among them. General Hale enabled this. Her recording accused. Time to burn it down. The crowd fractured, some fleeing, others jeering, a senator's wife vomiting into her clutch from the horror. Graves bolted for the exit, aide shielding, but Khan's hack locked the doors. Biometrics overridden. No running, Senator. I broadcast, mic pinned. America watches. Sirens wailed outside, DC metro lights strobing the windows like accusatory beacons. I shoved Derek off, standing amid the melee, uniform torn. Stars askew. This was the controversial heart. Exposing rot meant admitting complicity. Hail sins mine now, the body a vessel for collective guilt. Protests would rage, feminists cheering, conservatives decrying deep state sabotage. I'd be the villain or the savior, depending on the spin. But fuck the optics. Justice didn't poll. MPs cuffed me then, Graves screeching orders. Arrest him. Sedition. Derek, zip-tied nearby, met my gaze, pure terror. How? Second chances, Derek. Yours ran out. Hauled through the kitchen, pots clanging like war drums, I glimpsed Maria in the shadows, nodding fierce. The network held. Interrogation came swift, a fluorescent box in Quantico echoing my old hell. Suited feds, FBI, NCIS grilled. General, explain the outburst. I leaned back, Hale's cuffs chafing wrists that weren't mine. Truth serum's optional, boys. Aegis is real. Check the blockchain traces I embedded. They blanched. My leaks honey-trapped them. By dawn, Graves was in holding, Derek spilling under sodium pentothal, implicating all. But the twist gnawed. Hale's memories surged, revealing a deeper cut. Not just greed. Aegis funded Graves' daughter's opioid rehab, off-books, Derek's cut-buying silence on his own addictions. Monsters, yes, but human frailty laced the venom. Did that excuse? Hell no. But it humanized the blade. Released on my recognizance, stars still carried weight. I drove into DC traffic, radio blaring. Hale's confession rocks Capitol. Protests clogged them all. Aegis exposed trending, women in fatigues chanting Hale's name. Controversy peaked. Op-eds branded me rogue patriot or woke infiltrator. Fox looped Derek's mugshot. MSNBC my gala roar. At a safe house, Torres' cousin's row home in Anacostia, I shed the uniform. First time in days, scars itching like accusations. Mirror showed Hale's face, bruised and alien. But eyes? Mine. Dark fire from East LA streets. Maria arrived at dusk, bearing takeout and burner phones. Graves lawyered up. Derek's talking plea. We ate falafel on the stoop, city humming with unrest. You did it, Lila, she said. But the cost? Bodies in the crossfire, low-level clerks fired, families shattered. My decisions, leak all or redact. I'd chosen scorched earth, controversial as napalm. War's messy, I replied, but sleep evaded, ghosts of the dead, mine and theirs, whispering regrets. Monday brought the hearing, Joint Chiefs emergency session, marble halls echoing footsteps like judgments. I entered in civvies, jeans, bomber jacket, Hale's bulk filling them awkward. Essidef stared, pity in her eyes. I'd mentored her once, pre-death. General Hale, or whoever you are, explain. I laid it bare. The soul swap, the rage, the purge. Gasps, but nods too, evidence irrefutable. Graves indicted by noon, Derek facing court-martial. Twist. Hale's retirement, papers revealed a suicide note, dated post-gala, confessing all. My possession? A mercy kill, cosmic style. But vengeance hollowed. Derek's last plea, smuggled by a lawyer. Forgive me, Lila. I loved you, feared losing you to the stars. Lies. But the fracture ached. As rain lashed DC, I stood on the safe house roof, Potomac glittering below. The empire cracked, mine rebuilt. Yet the body waned. Hale's heart, weakened by vice, stuttered warnings. Time ticking. The fallout cascaded like dominoes in a hurricane, DC a tinderbox of hearings and headlines, my borrowed life the spark that ignited it all. By mid-November, Aegis was congressional catnip, blue ribbon panels grilling brass, Graves' Senate seat a smoking crater after his tearful perp walk, wife fleeing to the Hamptons with the kids. Derek? Broken in Leavenworth, spilling guts on everything from black site tortures to his coke-fueled rants about uppity bitches like me. His confession tape leaked, viraled on TikTok, remixed with trap beats, turning him from golden boy to national punchline. I did it for us, he sobbed on grainy feed.
Us.
The word curdled. Our Yellowstone sunset felt a millennium away. I navigated the wreckage from the shadows. Hale's Arlington lay a fortress under siege. Protesters at the gates one day. Fan mail the next. Maria ran point. Her demotion reversed overnight. Now liaison for a new DoD task force on gender equity. You're doing, she texted emoji flames. Our network bloomed. Con heading cyber reforms. Riley commanding a carrier strike group. Power redistributed. The old boys club a haunted house. But me? Lila and Hale's husk, adrift. Mornings I'd jog them all. Tourists snapping pics of the Hale Memorial plaque. Ironic, since the body rebelled. Chest pains sharpened. Doctors murmuring stress cardiomyopathy. Code for a soul at war with its cage. Controversy dogged like hounds. Conservative outlets branded the purge feminist coup. Hale, the Manchurian candidate for man-hating agendas. A viral op-ed from Eagleton. Hale's possession? Delusion or psyop. Either way, it guts our military soul. Protests clashed. Iron Fist Forever versus Lila Lives. Fists and signs flying near the Lincoln, where I'd once dreamed of etching my name. I watched from afar, hood up, Hale's frame a ghost among civilians. The decisions that birthed this? Ruthless, leaking unredacted names, doxing enablers, sparking death threats to innocents. One contractor's wife OD'd, tabloids blaming, Hale's hex. Guilt gnawed, but retreat?
Nah.
I'd chosen the blaze. Twist came quiet, a December eve in Hale's study, snow dusting the Potomac like ash.
Aknok, une invitée, urgent.
I opened to a woman in her 40s, sharp bob, eyes like Hale's, stormy blue.
Dad.
His daughter, Elena, estranged since 18, when he disowned her for divorcing her abuser, his word for a cheater. She clutched a manila envelope, shivering in the foyer. The news. Possession? It's insane, but I ushered her in, bourbon poured, Hale's ritual. She paced, heels clicking. Mom died last month. Left this. The envelope. Letters, Hale's scrawl, confessing Aegis not just greed, but redemption. Stole to fund Elena's law firm. Sue the bastards who hurt you. My gut twisted. Hale, the misogynist? Channeling atonement through theft, botched and bloody. Tears streaked her face. He was a monster. To me, to them.
But this?
He tried. Flash. Hale's memory, not rage, but regret. Watching Elena's graduation from afar, pride warring with poison. The body wasn't pure evil, layered like all sins. Lila, she whispered, piecing the impossible. I nodded, voice cracking.
We. Fucked up.
But it's unraveling right. We talked till dawn, her scars mirroring mine, a bridge across the chasm. Forgiveness? Not yet. But understanding. The twist that humanized the hunt. Vengeance crested at the court-martial, Andrew's AFB hangar turned tribunal, cameras barred, but leaks inevitable. Derek in dress blues, shackled, faced the panel, me absent, but my ghost presiding via affidavit. I betrayed her, he admitted, voice hollow. Lila Vasquez exposed the truth. I buried it to climb. Graves' trial followed, televised circus. No comment from the doc, but emails damned him. Neutralized the spick colonel. Outrage boiled. Impeachment unanimous. Sentenced to 30, he cracked in Supermax, spilling on bigger fish, lobbyists, cartels. The purge widened, DoD purging wrought like a fever dream. But Hale's shell frayed. Pains escalated, clutching chest during a network briefing, Maria dialing 911. Walter Reed ICU. Aortic aneurysm, acute. Doctors murmured, manifestation of stress, but I knew. The body rejected the intruder, Lila's fire scorching Hale's veins. Elena visited daily, reading case law aloud, her voice a bomb.
Fight it, she'd say.
I did, plotting final strokes, a foundation in my name, Vasquez Initiative for Assaulted Vets, seeded with seized Aegis funds. Controversial? Hell yes, lawsuits flew, conservatives crying blood money. But checks cleared, lives mended. New Year's Eve, monitors beeping dirge, I flatlined, brief, clinical death teasing the veil. Visions, my old end, boot descending. Then Hales, alone in this room, pistol to temple. A choice. Stay or go. I chose go, whispering to Elena as paddles charged. Tell them, misogyny backfired. We changed it. Flatline stretched, then, spark. Heart rallied. Lila's will one last surge. Awoke to headlines. Hale's stable. Reforms accelerate. But I knew the exit ramp. Weeks later, discharged, I drove to Montana. Derek's dream farm. Now mine via forfeiture. Elena co-signed the deed. Maria crashed the closing. Beers cracked on the porch. Snow blanketed the fields. Absarca Peak's silent witnesses. What now? Maria asked. I shrugged, Hale's frame slumping in the Adirondack. Live. Or die trying. The end came gentle. Spring thaw 2026. Chest seized mid-hike. Yellowstone geysers hissing like old foes. I collapsed by a fumarole. Steam veiling the pain. Derek's ring. Reclaimed from evidence. Clutched in fist. No regrets. The triad shattered. Secrets exhumed. Women rising. Elena found me at dusk, closing my eyes. Rest, Lila. You won. Obits hailed General Hale's redemption, but whispers lingered. Possession, miracle, myth. Doesn't matter. I died twice. Once betrayed, once avenged. Second time? On my terms, in the wild heart of America, where wolves howl truths the cities fear. Misogyny backfired, the general entered, and yeah, we changed everything.